Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Split Decision. You're here with me and Para, and then we've got our next special guest, Rachel Brewster from the Melbourne Boomers. Welcome to The Split Decision.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for coming on. And before we get into it, obviously we have to mention our sponsors, Kremlin. We've got something in the works for you guys with them, so make sure you guys stay tuned. It's really good. So make sure you guys just watch out on Instagram for that. And then one more thing is make sure you check out the Instagram, the Twitter, and our brand new YouTube channel. The links will all be in the description. And so I guess without further ado, let's get straight into it. And our first question is, do you remember how old you were when you started playing basketball, or like that sort of very first memory playing it?
Yeah, I started playing basketball when I was 10. I started off playing netball first. Me and my sister, we both played netball. And then we moved over to Melbourne. So I grew up in Perth, and then we moved over to Melbourne when I was 8 and was just playing netball. And then I started playing basketball when I was 10 because my mum played when she was younger, and it was just like basketball was such a big thing in Melbourne. It wasn't really like, I didn't even think about basketball when I was over living in Perth. And then we came to Melbourne and it was huge. And so I just thought I'd try it out and just ended up loving it. So it stuck with me.
So you reckon like your family was the real reason that you got behind basketball?
Yeah, it was. Well, I probably would have never tried it like if my mum hadn't played it before. My dad never played basketball. He was a footy guy. So yeah, I guess if my mum didn't play it, I probably wouldn't have tried it. But it was just something different. I was getting kind of bored of netball, so
Right.
basketball back.
It's always better to dribble the ball than
Yeah.
Nothing better than crossing someone over, you know.
Yeah.
Parker, you know the feeling.
What?
We all remember that training.
But George, it was George. No, it was George.
Right,
It was George.
yeah, fair enough. All right. So when you were growing up playing as a kid, did you ever realize that you could like take this to a professional level? Like you realized you were probably a bit better than what you were, like you thought you were at the time? I don't know, did I word that right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I never thought, like I don't know how to explain. Like you just kind of move forward and try and get to like the best point that you can get to. So like I've set little goals for myself along the way, and obviously playing in the WNBL and playing professionally like overseas, they're all goals for me. But it's all just kind of trying to get to the highest level that you can possible. So
Right.
you just kind of, it's just like leveling up. So as soon as you've hit one goal,
You got to get the next one.
you want the next one. Like, so it's basically just challenging myself. Once I started, like when I started realizing like, you know, this is like, I'm enjoying it and I'm actually doing pretty well. And I started off at McKinnon, and then I moved to Melbourne Tigers. And so when I moved over to Melbourne Tigers, that was when I was like, oh, you know, this is like a big thing and I can actually do something with basketball.
Go
like,
pro with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was really young at that time, so I still didn't like playing pro and going to college and stuff was all a goal, but I didn't. Then that was the point when I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay, yeah, makes sense then. When you were growing up, did you ever have like any basketball idols where you tried to sort of model your game after?
Yeah, Penny Taylor was my favorite player growing up. And she's so awesome. Like she was a great shooter. She was like super aggressive at the rim, like really crafty around the rim. So I loved watching her growing up when she was playing for WNBL for Dandy Rangers, and then she moved on to the WNBA, and she's coaching at Phoenix Mercury now. And she was definitely my favorite player growing up. So I tried to follow along with her a fair bit.
Right. Other than basketball, did you have people that you looked up to while growing up, like as role models for you?
Um, Not really. It was kind of a lot of the people that I looked up to were people that I was kind of like training and playing against. Like when I moved to Melbourne Tigers, I was like playing with girls that I just like I wanted to be on their level. So being able to train with them and playing with them and see like what they do, I kind of just looked up to the people around me, and I just wanted to like be as good as the people that were around me, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So you mentioned it a bit before, but you grew up, you came to Melbourne here in high school, and you led your team to the 2014 Australia School Championship title. Like, what do you sort of remember about that whole experience and what you gained from that?
That was, so I moved to Rowville when I was halfway through year 8. And that whole, like my whole experience at Rowville was like the best time of my life, because I was playing basketball like with my best friends. We were all competing like in VJBL against each other, but then we come over to Rowville and we're playing in a team, and we're playing against like all the other sports academies in the state. And that the 2014 was, I think, our 3rd national championship that we'd won in a row. Yeah,
Dominant.
so
back to back, the Bulls.
Yeah, so it was a really, really cool experience, because we were playing against like the top girls from other states. Like I remember we played against the Queensland team, and they had like Kalani, who I was playing with at Boomers, and she was on their team, and like Christy Wallace was on the team, and she's like got drafted into WNBA, was playing at Baylor. So like we just got the opportunity to play against some of the best players in Australia, and it was just like, it was super fun because you were just playing with your mates. Like,
yeah,
really cool.
Tearing up, dominating with your mates.
Yeah.
Nothing better.
the two best things in the world: playing with your friends and winning everything.
Back to back with your best friends. I mean, how good does it get? When you played for Vic Metro on multiple occasions. What did you take from that experience at Vic Metro?
Yeah, so I didn't actually make a Vic Metro team until under 20s, but I was an emergency since like under 16s through to under 20s. I was like pretty much in the squad for that whole time. So it was a really good learning experience, kind of not making that team and then having to come back from that and just like trying again the next time. It was kind of like character development for me, I guess. It was like just learning how to just not give up, basically. That's what I learned mostly from it. And obviously like the coach I play for now at Nunawading, Paul Flynn, he was my under 18 Vic Metro coach, and he actually cut me from the under 18.
Wow, what a dog. Do you ever bring it up with him?
I always like, if anyone ever asks like how good of a coach is Paul, like he cut me in under 18, then I still play for him now. And he really, really helped me with that whole process, and he believes in me so much, and that's why like I still play for him now, because he's a really, really good coach, but he also like knows how to get the best out of me, and he really believes in me, like probably more than I believe in myself. So yeah, that experience like with Vic Metro and then making the under 20s, and it was all the under 20s Metro was like a really, really cool experience, because I was playing with the girls, like they were all going on to play in like Power 5 schools at college. We had girls going to like Florida State. There were like Alana Smith was on the team. She's just finished off like her first season in the WNBA. So it was really cool for me to have made it into that team. It was just like a really, really cool achievement, because I didn't ever think that I would have got to that point.
So how did you sort of find out that you had made the team?
In under 20s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just, we went through like the whole selection process that happened. So everyone that comes into the tryouts, and they just slowly shorten down the squad. And eventually you just get like a phone call and they tell you like if you're on the squad or if you're on the team. I don't really remember it that well because like so much has happened since then. But yeah, it was a super cool feeling because I didn't think. And it was also because in under 20s, they joined the Metro and Country together. So I thought like my chances of making the team would have been even less. And so when I made it, like I was so excited. It was great. And it was a Melbourne tournament too. We played in Melbourne. So that was really cool.
Also, again, playing in front of family and friends as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Play the most livable city in the world.
Yeah.
You love saying that.
It's the only thing we've got right now. So eventually you then went to the University of Utah. What was the reasoning behind going to that university?
So Utah State, not Utah. I'll correct you. It's not Utah University of Utah. I wish it was.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I went to Utah State, which is, it's still a D1 school, but we're in the Mountain West Conference as opposed to the Pac-12. But they're actually my only D1 offer at the time. And so I went there because I wanted to play Division 1 and I wanted to go. I didn't want to do like the JUCO route where you play for 2 years and then try and play for another 2 years at a D1. I kind of just wanted to stay in the same place for the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I ended up going to Utah State and it turned out to be a pretty good fit for me. I loved it. So yeah, it was really cool.
Utah. So then you were named to the Mountain West All Freshman team. What was that sort of getting named to that team mean to you?
It was really cool because a lot of the time, like you come into a team as a freshman and you don't expect to make that much of an impact. Like a lot of people don't end up getting like significant court time until junior and senior year. So coming in as a freshman, like I was playing a lot of minutes and then like I was doing pretty well. So getting the all freshman team, it was just like a cool achievement. And it was I don't know how to explain it.
It speaks to your consistency when you were playing there, though, for you to be able to be a part of would you call it like an all-star team almost? But like a starting team for the collective group in that conference, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all freshmen, so it's definitely not like it wasn't an all-conference team or anything, but to be like one of the top 5 freshmen in the conference, considering like not a lot of freshmen actually get to play and make an impact, like it was a cool achievement for me.
Yeah, it's a big achievement. Yeah, exactly. So in the 15-16 season, you were named to the Mountain West. Sorry, I'm reading the 16-17 season. You had an amazing performance throughout that year that led to you being named an all-tournament team at the Lady Grizz Classic. What did that also do for you, or like what did that mean to you, like in your basketball career?
It showed me like kind of the improvement that I made. It was a pretty small tournament, but I remember there was a girl, another Australian on my team my freshman year, and she was just like crazy good at basketball. Like she was such a good player. And my freshman year, like she was like making all conference and making all of the all tournament teams and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I want to be on her level and I want to be performing consistently at that level. And that's kind of like getting an all tournament team, like getting that award just means that like you've been consistent throughout that tournament. And so, yeah, getting that award was like, it was really cool because I was just seeing the improvements that I was making throughout the year.
Do they give you anything for making those teams, like a medal or anything like that?
You just get like a plaque. So I think I have like a wooden plaque from that, I believe.
Okay. So then you were the recipient of the Joe E. and Elma Whiteside Scholar Award on multiple occasions. What did that mean? What to win that like I think 3 times? Yeah, so I got
I was a white side every year, so it was 4 years.
Oh, okay, 4 years.
Yeah. Which it just means that you keep like a GPA. Your GPA stays at a certain standard. And honestly, like it wasn't like the schooling in at college. It depends on what you do. Like it's not super difficult, but it's. I mean, being able to maintain, it was like a 3.2 GPA, and I think an average is like a 2.5 GPA.
That's pretty good.
And so it's just like it's a good feeling being able to achieve being a full-time like student athlete and doing everything that we are doing with basketball, like training 4 hours a day and all that kind of stuff, but then being able to like keep up on your studies as well and make sure that you're staying successful with your academics as well, because that's ultimately like why you're there. Like you're going to get a degree and you want to be able to get good grades in that, because if you want to move further on with your education, you can't like get into a good master's program or anything if you don't have a good GPA. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
It's all good and well to graduate, but if you didn't actually get good grades, then you're probably not going to get into a good program. So it's really cool like to be able to keep up on my education like that.
And it's good because you hear about like other student athletes that sort of go to college and they completely drop off on the academic side, just solely focusing on the basketball. So it's good when they recognize like those that sort of balance the two of them as well.
Yeah, and it's important. I mean, a lot of the coaches, they do stress when you go over to college, they stress how important the academics is, because if you drop off, you literally can't play. Like if your GPA drops below a certain amount, then you're literally not allowed to play. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, it's a good incentive because I mean, basketball careers don't last that long, you know. Like most basketball careers don't last that long, you know. So it's a good incentive to keep them to get their academic standards up so they can actually get a job in the future, you know.
Yeah. You got to have lined up done, because you work for the rest of your life. You don't play basketball for your whole life, so you kind of got to have something.
Yeah, a backup plan.
Unless you're like Vince Carter and you're like 45 years old. God damn. I mean, speaking more, you were named to the academic all-mountain team all 4 years you were there. As well, you were also a Mountain West Scholar athlete in 2016 and 17. What did that award mean to you?
Kind of just what I said before. It's just it's just kind of solidifying that like all the hard work you're putting in, it pays off and it gets recognized. And there's actually like it's a pretty low percentage to get that award. It's just something else. I don't know. The academic awards like. I mean, no one really cares about the academic awards, but like it is a good achievement, because the schooling is, you're putting in more work into your education than you are into basketball most of the time.
Actually, speaking on that, how often did you train when you're at college? Like, how often was your training? Like, was it 2 days or was it like 3 times a week?
2 days a week.
So it was every day, and then it depended on the time of year. So if we were like coming up to so like over Christmas break, if we didn't have school over Christmas break and we were coming up to starting conference, we would have 2 days because we didn't have to go to class. And then like during the we'd have 2 days like 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
And then every day other than that. And like rarely, sometimes we would get like 3-day weekends. And in summer, like pre-season, we would do like conditioning at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then right after conditioning, we would go to weights. And then you'd go to like your summer school class. And then in the afternoon, we'd have a workout with our coaches and then open gym after that.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's
a busy schedule, it seems like, all year round.
Yeah.
No matter what time of year.
You'd end up training for 4 or 5 hours a day. Like it depends on what time of the year it is.
Right.
Other than that, were you able to like sort of like whenever you want to get a coach to come and just like get shots up as well?
Yeah. So the coaches were always, we had like our training courts, and our coaches' offices were in the training courts. So whenever you wanted to go in and shoot or get a workout in your own time, they were just able to come down and work you out, which was like super convenient and my campus was super tiny. So I would just like go to class, and then after class, straight after class, I would just go in and shoot or like do a workout with my coaches.
That's the dream.
Were you ever that person? Oh, yeah, sorry. Were you ever that person, or did you have that like one person like they'd be there before practice, like they'd get like 100 or 300 shots up, and then after practice they'd do like another 300 or 100 shots? Was there ever that person in like college, or were you that person?
I tried to be that person, but it wasn't always that easy. Or like, yeah, it was a lot easier to like. We had a lot of the girls that would stay behind after training and get their individual shots up, or would come in like before class in the mornings and just get shots up. And I would do that a bit. But we would go like straight from class. You would just go straight from class to training. So there wasn't really any time before training to get all your shots up. But yeah, a lot of the girls would stay in behind training and do all their extra work.
Right.
That's so good though. College ball, playing basketball in college.
It's fun. It's fun. It's hard work, but it's worth it. It's so fun.
Which would you say was better, your college experience or your high school experience with basketball, or in general your experience?
I think in the terms of basketball, I really, really enjoyed high school because that's where I saw the most of my development. Like I went into high school, I wasn't that great. And then when I left high school, I was like making state teams and I'm going to college, and like I'd really, really seen most of my improvement in that time. But then like in terms of life experience and all that kind of stuff, college, like you can't really compare. College was just, there's so many things that I did that I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't go.
Yeah. College seems like the dream place to go, basically, in America.
Like I don't want to be here anymore. We say this every day. I just don't want to be here anymore.
Every time we talk to someone,
most people come back to Australia. It's good for 4 years back.
Every time we talk to someone, they're just like, yeah, college is the best experience. I love that place. I'm like, yeah, uni sucks. I hate this. Uni sucks. I hate this place. I want to go home.
So when you look back, you had a really successful career at Utah State, ranking second in career games and fourth in all-time scoring. What does it mean to like hold these records?
It's really cool. Like you don't come in ever thinking like, oh, I'm going to beat this record, or I want to do this. Like you have little goals, but you just never really think about like doing those things. I don't know, like I never thought, fourth all-time scoring, like there's a lot of girls that kind of came in and out of the program, and like a lot of people that, would have been able to crush those records. But I think like I stuck it out and I worked hard and I did my best, and I stayed at Utah State, and that's kind of just what happened from doing that. So I don't know. Yeah, just like it's a cool achievement, and it's nice to kind of just like have my name there, and hopefully it'll be there for a little while. But yeah, it's cool. I don't know.
I mean, ranked amongst like all your other achievements that you had. So you also ranked third in field goals made. You ranked top 10 in career rebounds, career steals, career 3-point field goals made. But overall, what was like your favorite memory of at the university, like at college, I should say? Sorry.
Yeah. My favorite memory. There's a lot, but I think like you don't remember, like I barely remember individual games, but like there's a lot of the games I remember are the ones where like the team just killed it, like where we just played like the best game that we could have, and we had a couple of games where we knocked off like the top team in the conference, and there was like we had Boise State and Colorado State. They were the two teams that for the last like 10 years have pretty much been the conference champions and the top of the conference the whole time, and we beat both of those teams while I was there. So like I remember those games, and they were probably my best memories, but just also like the people that you meet and the environment that you're in, like just the support and the people at Utah State and the people like in Logan where I was living, like those are the people that I probably remember and like will remember the most, because those people like would do anything for you. And they just love the program so much. So like just knowing those people and like building relationships with those people is probably the most memorable thing.
That's it. Just like, I think also that chance of living abroad as well would be like just mental.
Oh yeah, it's really cool, and like we got to travel to so many different places, and you just meet really, really cool people. Like I know I've got friends from like all over America now, and like I just met people that are going to be my friends forever. So it's a good experience.
Right.
And then coming out of university, you signed for the NBL 1 team, Nunawading Spectres. I think I said that right.
Yeah, Nunawading.
What was the sort of the decision making behind signing for them?
So I moved to Nunawading after I finished juniors. So when I moved into like youth league and C-ball, I moved to Nunawading because my coach Paul Flynn was there. And I just kept coming back and training with them when I had my time off during college. And I just really, really I built a really good relationship with the girls that were there and like the coaches and the staff in Nunawading. And I just love it there. So there was never really like a question of whether I was going to go back to Nunawading. So yeah, I came back and I already knew, I knew for the whole 4 years that I was at college that I was going to go back to Nunawading.
What experience do you reckon you gained while playing for Nunawading?
There's just a lot of, I've played with a lot of players. Like Flynn knows he's a great recruiter, and he brings in girls that he knows are gonna mesh well in terms of chemistry and on the court. So we all get along off the court just as well as we do on the court. And I've gained so much experience from the players. Like we had Maddie Garrett come in last season, so I got to learn a lot from her. And there's just a lot of players that have come in that have either played WNBL or have been in college, or they've been in the system for a really long time. So you learn a lot about reading the game, how I developed a lot with just how I read the game and how quickly, because it's such a level up from college. So it's how you read the game, the choices you make, and just it's just way more professional.
Yeah.
Right.
It's still a step up from college for sure.
Okay, yeah. And everything, just even that whole chemistry aspect's important as well. Playing sports of power for the past 2 years, the chemistry.
What are you calling me trash or something? Hey, Carrie.
Bad teammate.
Bad teammate. I was like Michael Jordan, I was a talent, but I got the job done,
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, it's super important.
So this was your first season with the Melbourne Boomers. What was sort of your decision making behind signing for them?
It was just the opportunity that came up for me, and it was something that I've always wanted. It's always been a goal of mine to be a part of it and WNBL team. And And so, yeah, it was just something that I definitely couldn't turn down. And it was like probably the best decision I've made, and I've learned so much the last season. And again, like the girls that are on the team and the people that I was training with every day and learning from, like that experience is invaluable. And so, yeah, I just enjoyed it as well. Like coming off college, like I was saying before, you train a lot and you get kind of burnt out. And I'd spent like the last year just trying to kind of enjoy playing basketball again. And it was super cool being able to be a part of the Boomers, because like I was learning so much, but I was also just enjoying it so much and being around like such a cool group of people. Like it's a really, really good club. So I loved it. It was so much fun.
So do you remember like playing your first professional game? Like were you nervous? Like what was going through your head like before your first professional, like stepping onto the court for your first professional game?
I mean, I only got on, I played probably max 2.5 minutes because I was technically like, I was a training player. So it was like in between being a development player and like a rostered player. So, like my time came when, you know, we already won the game. And so like, I just got my minute, but like, I was still like shooting myself, obviously, because I didn't want to go on and mess up. Like when the coach like calls your name, he's like, yeah, it's your turn to go on. Like you kind of just get a little lightheaded and get a little weak, and you just go on the court and try not to mess up. Oh, that's all I remember is just like going on the court, trying not to mess up. But like, it's a really cool feeling being like on the court and just realizing like that's a goal that I've had.
Yeah.
And,
did you get a shot off that game?
Well, I think I probably all the games that I played, I probably put up 3 shots. And I remember our very last game in season, and we were up by like 30 points, and so I got to go on, and I put up a 3, and I shot it, and I was like so confident. I was like, yes, this is in. Like it felt so good. And it hit the back of the rim and just like bounced off the rim and didn't go in. And
then your heart just broke into a million pieces.
I was devastated. I was thinking about that shot for like 2 days. I was like, yes, this is going in. And you could see like on the footage, like all the girls on the bench were like off their seats because they thought it was going to go in, and it just bounced back of the ring. Like it was, yeah.
See the bench just doing this.
Yeah, and they're like,
and then it's like hit the backboard.
You all just sit down. You're like, oh.
Yeah, sorry.
And the coach calls you off. That's like the worst thing ever. You miss a shot. The coach calls you off.
Yeah, so I haven't got my first point yet, but yeah, still like getting on the court and just being a part of a team like that, and like being around the girls that are on the team, like it was so cool.
Right.
So you sort of mentioned this before, but what was it like sort of playing alongside Lindsay Allen and Sophie Cunningham? Were you able to pick up anything from them?
Oh yeah, like they're just a next, like totally next level. LA, she's the player that will do everything in her power to win the game for you. Like she was just like, I can't even explain. And the experience that they've had already, like they're only a year older than me, but the way that they play and train and their mentality is just like years ahead. So yeah, I learned so much about like work ethic, aggression, backing yourself. Like it was so much more than just their skill set, like just kind of the way that they go about everything and how like professional they are. Yeah, it was really, really cool because I've seen, and it's like, it's weird because you like see videos of them online or like on social media of them playing in the WNBA, and then all of a sudden like they're on the court next to you and your teammates, and like, yeah, it's so cool. Yeah.
They're just balling that, chucking you the ball. You're like, oh my god, I'm not gonna watch this.
Yeah.
It's sort of
So-
like us doing these interviews as well. It's like we like see you guys on TV, and then we're like actually talking to you. It's like, oh my god. It's like,
It's so surreal.
Yeah.
So
It's surreal.
when you had we're like, oh my god, someone actually wants to talk to us.
Same.
So, I mean, for those of our listeners that haven't watched, like, you play basketball before, how would you describe your game? Like, were you more of a spot-up shooter? Are you like a playmaker? How would you describe your game?
I'm definitely more of a spot-up shooter. My whole career, I've just been like a catch and shoot kind of player. And I've slowly started to be more like, when I was in college, I started to develop more of like a playmaker kind of game and be more aggressive like at the ring and stuff. But definitely like 3-pointers and mid-range is my thing, which is, I mean, not a lot of people kind of do the mid-range thing anymore. I feel like it's all get to the basket,
Yeah, it's a
2-3.
dying.
Steph Curry rule.
Mid-range
Steph
is a
Curry
dying,
rules it for us.
dying
Yeah.
art, mid-range.
Yeah, but the like a one dribble pull up is like my thing.
Bread and butter.
I-
Every time you,
I love the one dribble mid range.
it's just like, oh, that's in.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much.
that's cash.
Pump fake,
And then
one
it's
dribble,
actually
catch.
It's
and then it hits the back of the
surprisingly
ring.
hard.
It is, because you hit him with like the pump fake, they're up, just one dribble in. You gotta
Yeah.
wait for the shot.
Pump fake, and then you jump into them. Think shot. That's three.
The James Harden. The James Harden.
The James Harden. That's more of a D Wade, isn't it? Didn't he?
Oh yeah, true. It's more of a D Wade. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
So when you sort of
D Wade obsessed. That's just possible. It's a real problem now. Ridiculous.
So when you reflect on the season, what would you say a high point of the season for like you and the team was?
The WNBL season.
Oh yeah.
Highlights. I mean, there was a lot. Like, it was just a really successful season for us, and I think it's almost like, I don't know, it's stupid to say, like every day was honestly like a highlight for me, because I was coming in and like working with these like vets. Like I had, Kayla George and all these like there was Olympians and WNBA players and just women that have been in the league for years. And so just being able to train with them was my highlight. But I think as a team, we were really, really proud of, like I said before, our team chemistry and the success we had in our team, and kind of just the culture that we built within the team was probably something that we were super, super proud of, because we were able to be successful, but like we were just all like, we got along so well, and we were just all so happy for each other's successes. And it didn't matter like who had a good game on whatever night. Like,
it's like the team
it was just everyone, we all celebrated each other's successes, and we just all enjoyed the process of getting to where we got. And I think that we did really, really well last season. It was super, super successful for us.
All right. So, I mean, you've had a pretty good career up until now, but like, what are your future like endeavors? Like, what do you want to do before like your career ends? Like, what are your goals?
Yeah, I definitely want to work my way up with like, playing significant minutes in a WNBL team, or having an impact on a WNBL team. I still have so much to learn, but that's definitely a goal of mine. Or like playing overseas is always something I've wanted to do as well. So it kind of sucks considering what's going on right now, but that's definitely a goal for the future. I'd love to play overseas as well.
Right.
Hopefully this blows over soon.
Yeah.
So now to the most important question. There's only one right answer. Only one right answer to this. There's only...
we know what the answer is.
I don't know if I can answer.
Who
Do you know what the
is
question
your NBA GOAT?
Oh,
There's only one right answer.
We apparently give different answers.
We have different answers. We have different answers.
No, because I don't even know. I'm gonna say MJ.
Yes. Yes.
I don't-
We need to have like a scorecard
That is-
on the
There's
top.
there's so many. Honestly, like I haven't followed the NBA to have a decent opinion on this, and like I know I have reasons why like it would be MJ or LeBron. Like there's reasons, but yeah, I don't know.
MJ. But we'll take
At least you didn't
MJ.
say like,
You would take
at least you
MJ.
didn't say like Allen Iverson or something.
Oh, bro, you said out.
But nah, I mean, after watching The Last Dance, I can see why people are saying he's pretty good. He's not bad.
He's alright.
He's alright. He's actually pretty average. I mean, really,
Above average, role player, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be Steve Kerr, but
I'd rather be Steve Kerr.
I'd rather be Steve Kerr. Spot up shooter. You just got to hit those 1 or 2 shots. Same as MJ's career. All right, moving on to an even more pressing question. Who is your WNBA GOAT? We've had mixed answers. Actually, yeah, we've had some mixed answers here.
WNBA GOAT?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go with Lauren Jackson, don't I?
Oh, yeah, you know what? That's Lindsay
Lauren
Allen said
Jackson or Diana Taurasi?
I say Tamika Catchings. Tamika Catchings is the GOAT.
Good too.
Yeah, Tamika Catchings is pretty solid. That's true. But
Yeah,
we've had both. Who said Diana?
Diana Taurasi.
No, because who do we have on Sunday? She didn't say Diana Taurasi though.
Nah, she didn't. But Lauren Jackson, yeah, everyone says, a lot of people say Lauren Jackson actually now I think about it. But Tamika Catchings, yeah, I reckon she could be up there. I mean, Hall of Fame now.
I know. So, what is one thing that like sort of pro athletes do or go through that fans wouldn't know about?
There's a lot of things. I mean, we talk a lot about, how much work you have to put in outside of just your training. But it's kind of, I think a lot of things that people that are just watching from outside don't consider is like, it's literally everything you do adds up to your result. It's mental health and like how you approach the game mentally. It has such a high impact on your performance, and a lot of people that are starting to talk about it more, but don't realize like how much it actually affects your performance. But also just like your lifestyle and like nutrition and just being on top of literally everything you do just has that effect on how you perform and what your success is. And I think people look from the outside in and they're just like, oh yeah, they go to training and like they work hard at training and then whatever, like they go play the game. But it's literally everything that you do.
Leads to that one
what,
moment,
what you eat, what you drink, how much you sleep. Like sleeping is massive. It's mental. It's like literally everything. It's a full-time job.
Would you say it's a more mental game than a physical game?
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if your head's not right, then you could be in like physical peak form, but if mentally you're out of it, you're not going to be able to use it to the best of your ability.
Right. Yeah.
It's sort of like what Penina Davidson alluded to. She was saying that like sort of how you approach the game before the game. Like you don't want to be too overhyped or too nonchalant about it. Like even that has a aspect on how you play the game as well.
Yeah, it definitely. Like I would try so hard. I would get like super, super nervous before games and like almost to the point where I didn't even want to play the game just because I was like so nervous about what was going to happen. And you just can't be like that. It's better to just kind of like goof around a little bit in warm-ups or like dance around a little bit and just kind of get it out of your system and not take it so seriously. I think that's like a better approach is try not to be so like uptight about it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, speaking of that, do you have any like specific like pre-game routines that you go through to like maybe calm yourself, or that you have to do so that you get in the right like mental state before a game?
I used to, but I try and stay away from that. It was like, you know how people have, put your left shoe on first and then like, you have to put whatever sock on before your shoe, and like you have to put one side sock and shoe on before you put the other side sock and shoe on. Like I used to be like that, and I'll do like, I'll put my left shoe on or my right shoe on, but I try and stay away from that. I just try and like do my warm up properly. We do some visualization before our games, and kind of just stay as relaxed as possible, but while, focusing on what your role is, the job you have to do. I try and stay away from the superstitions and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, I couldn't really tell you one that I have, which is a bit strange. I know you have them.
It's but like everyone we've had so far has like they say they don't have like superstitions either. So
really,
yeah, so
I'm really bad with superstitions. Like I can't, like I have this necklace that I wear and I have to take it off like the day before. Like I can't wear it the day before. It just does my head in.
Yeah.
I'm really bad with it. Like as you said, I put my left shoe on before my right because I'm left-footed. But like it's just I'm really bad with it. I can't grow out of it.
Yeah. No, it's fine. If it works for you, it works for you. I mean, I would have a certain pair of shoes that I had to wear or like something like that, but
right.
It doesn't really matter anymore, I guess.
So then you've won a lot of sort of awards throughout your career, but and games as well. What is your sort of favorite memory overall of your playing career so far?
Favorite memory so far? That's a hard one. I'd probably say that is a really hard one. I mean, obviously, like playing in high school and winning like national championships and stuff, that was super, super fun. But I think my favorite memories were probably in college when we were playing against like the top teams and when we were beating like the top teams in the conference. Those are really, really good memories because we'd had to go through a lot of stuff to get to that point. Like we weren't having very successful seasons and we weren't playing as well as what we thought we should have been. And then we finally like got to that point where we were beating like the top teams in the conference. So those are probably really, really good memories for me.
Right. So when you're not playing basketball, what's like your hobby to do? Like, what do you like doing?
I really like working out. I go to the gym a lot, where I can't right now, which is really, really frustrating. But yeah, I lift a lot. I know I like cooking. I like doing lots of outdoor stuff, like hiking. Yeah, I don't know, just kind of chilling out. I don't do a lot of crazy stuff. I wish I did more kind of interesting stuff, but yeah, kind of keep it simple.
What's your favorite dish to cook?
There's a lot. I don't know. I really like Asian food. So I'll make noodles, rice paper rolls, sushi, like all that kind of stuff.
Dumplings are good.
Dumplings, yeah, really good.
Pad Thai goes off for me. I love Pad Thai.
Pad Thai, yeah. Thai food is really good.
So then, our last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for any sort of Australian kids who are looking to go pro in basketball in the future?
I think you just have to, you don't have to be the best, but you just have to try and be like your best. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, me, like personally, growing up, I've put a lot of pressure on myself and like set super high expectations. I don't think that's necessarily the best way to go about it. I think that you just need to keep working and just keep trying to get better every single day. And if you do that, like if you work hard and you listen to your coaches, you get help when you need help, and you don't give up, like you're eventually going to get to where you need to go. Because that's kind of what's happened with me. I've just tried to get better every single day and just improve on everything that I need to improve on. And eventually I've achieved what I've wanted to achieve, and I've ended up in a spot that I've always wanted to be in. So yeah, if you just keep working, don't give up, it'll happen for you.
Right.
That is,
I mean, that's
that is some
that's a great way
amazing
to
advice.
be the best that you can be, not the best. That's some advice to take with you.
Yes.
You should use that, mate.
Oh, wow. I am the best podcast host that I can be. Anyway, Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We really enjoyed having you.
No worries. Thank you for
It
having
was
me.
a pleasure.
And guys, make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, and 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. I always forget to say that, but that really does help us a lot. And we'll see you guys next week. Yeah, peace.
Go Melbourne.
Pull up in the gold, I'm leading. But them other man need feeding. I don't wanna go Bombay. Them I don't know what I do when I go from Beeling. Leading the pack in black and I'm on with the bag. Snapping with the phone and dab. Boss up a man with the duster. Put him in the drip and sit blockbuster.